The title of my presentation is How to Overcome Supply Chain Disruptions and Build Competitive Advantage Through Concurrent Supply Chain Planning. And the highlight today is Martin's presentation and case study on MSD Merck, but I wanted to give you a quick introduction to the technology that we have in place inside MSD and that they're using to plan their supply chain. If we think back 20 years ago, we had Y2K. We had SARS after that. We had 9/11. We had the financial crash, hurricanes, diseases, earthquakes, tsunamis, bankruptcies, wildfires, political unrest, port strikes, tariff wars, wildfires, and then of course this year we have the pandemic. But more and more will continue to come, and supply chain disruptions are the norm. We see volatility everywhere in the supply chain, whether it's tariffs and duties being slapped on Australian wine, product recalls, custom backlogs, equipment failures, health crises, special incremental promotions, suppliers that can't deliver on time. Whatever it is, there's unexpected events that are hitting us every single day that we have to be able to manage through. I love this quote from Charles Darwin. It's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is most adaptable to change. And we really need to keep this in mind in the supply chain. I've also been reading the Boston Consulting Group lately. They have a paper called Building the Bionic Supply Chain that you might find interesting. And the link is below, but a quick search will find that. And I pulled a couple of quotes from them. So reacting swiftly to sudden changes in supply prices, trade policies, and so on is perhaps the most important consideration of all in the current business environment. Every member of the planning organization should have real-time data access. Very important to keep in mind as we move forward. This is a slide that explains what we typically see and hear from companies that we meet who are looking to improve their supply chains. They are essentially running business functions in silos surrounded by a sea of Excel spreadsheets, sometimes hundreds of spreadsheets. They're using outdated methods, Excel for planning and email, sequential serial emails for collaboration. They're in silos, it's modular based and takes a long time to process. This results in competing views of the truth. Every single planner has their own spreadsheet and their own idea of what the truth is. The processes are sequential and batch-based, and analysis is localized. And what this ends up really being is slow, inaccurate decision-making because information is incomplete. So what supply chain planning processes and systems need to be able to do is to rebalance supply and demand continuously in real time to deal with all the increasing complexity and uncertainty that we are seeing. So what are the key characteristics of continuous supply chain planning? Well, these four key ideas we've pulled together from a lot of research, but essentially from Deloitte and McKinsey. And number one is that we need to be able to understand external change correctly and instantly through real-time end-to-end visibility. 2 is we need to be more agile and be able to respond continuously to changes in demand and supply through ad hoc real-time planning. The third point is that we need to be able to prepare for the future through what if, what next simulations. And this shouldn't be limited to just a few people, but any planner who needs this functionality. And then finally, we need to be able to collaborate properly across the supply chain with other planners, other departments, with our suppliers, with our customers. At Kinaxis, we believe that the solution to this continuous planning requirement is what we call concurrent planning. And what concurrent planning means to us is planning across the end-to-end supply chain, connecting different processes, functions, and departments, looking across any or all time horizons, and supporting continuous planning and decision-making. In order to be able to do that, what is required is, first of all, a single platform, a single version of the truth that everyone is working on and looking at. All of the processes within the system need to be synchronized in real time and end to end. We also need end-to-end visibility and drill down and trade-off analysis capabilities, real-time supply and demand balancing and analytics, digital twins for anyone in the supply chain who needs to do what-if simulations. And that cannot be just limited to a few people, but everyone should have the ability to have as many digital twins as they want to simulate anything, anywhere, anytime. And then a way to make decisions that are based on company-wide KPIs and not just departmental KPIs. And be able to look at alternatives and trade-offs and measure those alternatives against those KPIs when making decisions. And then finally, collaboration in real time across the entire group that's contextual, so that everyone's looking exactly at the same piece of data required so that we can all make a decision together. These are the key requirements of concurrent planning or continuous planning. So here's a view of a dairy supply chain. And our solution at Kinaxis is called rapid response. And within rapid response, we have analytics, alerts, and monitoring that are always on and always running, so that any change that happens anywhere in that supply chain from one end to the other, as soon as that happens, supply and demand are rebalanced, and everyone in the supply chain can see the impact of that change anywhere else in the supply chain. And we're able to drill down and understand how to respond to those changes and rebalance the supply chain. And how we do this is through a very powerful engine that calculates all of this in real time as changes occur in seconds. So whether it's supply propagation from milk all the way to the demand side, demand propagation back all the way to available raw materials, we're doing full level pegging of demand and supply in seconds concurrently for all planners. So we designed and architected rapid response to be able to support this. And the architecture is what sets us apart from anyone else in the market and is key. As we mentioned previously, the old way is where every single function in the supply chain is in its own silo. All of the processes between these are cascaded, serial, batch-based. Within the silos, the information is static. The planning tools that are being used to plan across these are essentially black box because it's very difficult to drill down between silos to understand how trade-offs were made in the process. And the result is slow and difficult to respond to change. In our way at Kinaxis with rapid response, we support concurrent and real-time, always-on planning. We support collaboration across all departments and functions. We provide end-to-end visibility, and we're able to drill down to all details to understand the true impact. The system is real-time and supports proactive response to change. And again, for all planners, we support limitless simulations and scenarios so that you can answer those what if, what next questions across the end-to-end supply chain, not just in a single silo. Here's just a quick list of some of our customers in various industries. And all of these companies started with that old method we saw, and they wanted to be able to do continuous planning. It doesn't necessarily mean that we do away with our yearly or semi-annual planning or monthly or weekly planning, but to be able to do daily planning or even plan multiple times a day for key products is crucial for a lot of these companies to be able to respond to changes as they happen, and then spend more and more time each day looking at opportunities to grow the business and how to take advantage of those. And so with that, I'm going to next turn it over to Martin at MSD Merck, and he can explain how they're using rapid response. Thank you.